guys, welcome back to my channel. I really appreciate you guys joining me here today. If you're new or were just strolling by, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can join the family, and if you enjoy content like this, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat. In today's video, it's a continuation of that first video where I show you how I painted the canvas, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created the frames that go around the canvas. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the biggest things for this project was a miter saw. So I bought this from Lowe's for about $14.99. So in the calculation that I did, totaling this project for under $150, that included the cost of this miter box. So if you already had a miter box or a way to cut these in angle pieces, then you already are saving even more money. So if I had a miter box sooner, I could have probably done the project, if you remember, where I created the panel walls by myself. If you haven't already seen that video, here's a link to it up here, somewhere up here. Be sure to check that out. I show you how I do my accent wall in my studio. So what a miter box basically is you know how you have something, if you cut it you need to cut it at an angle, that way the two pieces can lock together. So in order to do that, I had to use a miter box. So the miter box comes with predetermined angles. So it's at a 40 degrees angle. You can cut it at a 90 degrees angle, which is straight down, or you can cut it at the other 40 degrees, which would be the other side. So imagine this is one piece and this is another piece. So if this triangle is the measurement for 45 degrees, so I need to cut all the pieces at 45 degree angles, right, in order to create that frame. So remember the wood that I bought, and again, they were $2.99 for about, I want to say 12 feet. For each 12 feet foot wood, I cut it in two pieces. I cut it in a 48 inch and a 24 inch. So the 48 piece will go on the vertical portions of the frame, and the 24 inches will go on the vertical portions of the frame. So remember, my frames were 28 by 24, so I cut about an inch above the measurements of 48. That way the frames could have a little bit space in between, and at least like an inch, not an inch, maybe half an inch all around, so it looks comfortable. And let me tell you, this portion of the project definitely tested my patience. It tested my body. It tested my strength. I was questioning everything. This was the part of the project, I mean, the canvas was already trying enough in terms of like my vision and how it looked, and just kind of wanting to give up in the middle. But at this point in doing this frame, I was just kind of like, what have I gotten myself into? In fact, this would probably look better without a frame. And I was like, what is this? But I had to remind myself and really like ginger up myself, and I was like, I have to see this through. It's hard. There were times where I had to saw, and basically I had to like straddle my legs and hold the wood in place. And I don't know if you've ever used a hand saw, but you have to like put pressure down, and you have to like use a certain amount of speed, and it's just a lot. Using a hand saw is no easy feat, and I did not know that going into it. I did see that they have a table saw that's kind of like meow, meow, where it was like $199, and I'm thinking of investing in one of those if I ever decide to create another one. It was a lot of work to saw. I think the sawing process alone took me about 3 hours. When I went to sleep the evening that I sawed down these pieces, my feet and my back was like aching so badly. Like I don't know how to describe it. It felt like I got jumped. So once the wood was done, I basically went in with glue. That was the first try. I thought they were gonna stick, but they actually didn't. So I kind of held them at the angle, and I glued it, and I kind of held it there. And then I left it in a little square like I did the pieces for my other project, which I will link up here. Remember that project? Yeah, so I kind of went with that route and I glued them together and I left them on the floor to dry. And I realized that they were kind of like wonky, so I taped it down and tried to see if it was gonna work. The next day it turned out they were like glued together, like you could still see the tackiness in it, but they were kind of like swaying. So I had to come up with a solution, and I basically went and I found a staple gun. The staple gun that I used originally, I thought I was gonna use the ones regular staples, but the gun that I bought, the stapler gun that I bought, actually had a 2 tool setting, so you could use the staples or you could use nails. The next step was to kind of spray this. That was pretty much easy. I did use 2 cans of spray paint, and I just put them outside. I tried to put some cardboard on the pavement. What I should have done, and if you're gonna do this project, I highly recommend that you do, is before you spray it, it's probably a good idea to sand the front, at least the front part that's going to be shown. If you're lazy like me, you won't sand it at all, but if you're partially lazy, maybe you can just sand the front that's going to be showing. Just sand it down so it's all even before spraying it. That's something that I wish I'd done, because you can still kind of see the woody features. And maybe it's the lazy in me, but I love that I can talk to the imperfections of this piece, because when I talk about this piece, it almost reminds me of myself, because I'm talking about the process that I kind of go through in my creative thinking, the discouragement, and not feeling like doing it anymore, and then kind of pushing through to see that it can yield a beautiful piece. So it's a story that I love to tell whenever I show people that painting. I used one really initially for the first part, and the next day I went back and I filled in everywhere that was missing or had didn't have enough paint, and I just gave it one final coat. And then I came back the third day and I turned them over and I kind of did the back and got them to dry. So once that was done, I basically mounted them, put the levels to make sure the frames were all the same. Another thing to note is that these frames are hanging up by thumbtacks, so I didn't put any holes in the wall, well, visible holes. They're like little tiny holes in the walls, and I kind of put the light up, and then I lined up the thumbtacks along the red laser line, and then I hung the frames. I wanted them to be like close together, because I did want them to look like one frame, but like kind of if you step closer you saw that they were 3 different frames. That was the look I was going for. First I put the canvas pieces, I hung up the canvas pieces on the thumbtacks, and I stepped back and they looked great, and I just went back with the frames and just kind of positioned them. So they're hanging and they look great, but if somebody like held them down or pulled them down for whatever reason, they will come down. What I do plan on doing at some point is cutting up some command strip tapes just to position them where they need to be, because I realized that for the frames, which are also hanging up by some push pins, they were kind of like swinging off the axis, if that makes sense. So I need to like keep them straight and sturdy. So I do plan on putting some command strip tapes on the back and kind of sticking them to the wall. This is exactly what it looks like. I love the piece. This is what it looks like up close. I wanted to get a bit fancy and give it like an art gallery feel, so I bought these lights, and this is complete. This wasn't factoring into the cost. This was just like me being extra. And so I got these lights for about, I think $39.99. I'm not sure, but I'll find the link and I will definitely include it in this video. Light comes in 3 different settings, so you can do like a white light, you can do like a yellow light, or you can do like a mixed light. And you can control it with a remote control, so I just keep the little remote in the console table beneath it to like change the vibe if I wanted. I was really pleased with this project because one, I got to save some thousands of dollars, and my husband was very excited about that. But also, one of the things that I really love about taking on this project was that the stories that I do get to tell when I tell people about this project. One, it like challenged me in ways that I haven't been challenged before. It speaks to my creative process. And 3, it's like my mind child. Like basically I thought of this project, this really huge project that felt impossible, seemed impossible, and I broke it down in little digestible pieces, and I was able to accomplish it. So that's how I painted my canvas pieces. So if you just stumbled upon this video and you are wondering where the first part is, it's going to be right after this video. I'm going to try to link them so that they go right into each other. But if you like videos like this, please be sure to join the family by hitting that subscribe button, because I recently moved and I have been doing a lot of home improvement projects, and I as a creative, I love to like just think of new ways to spice up my home without necessarily breaking the bank. So if you like those kind of content, then you would really love some of my other videos. So be sure to check those out. And Sunshines, thank you so much for joining me and sticking with me and riding with me. And until next time, see you in my next video.